All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice Show. We've got a 5-game slate to talk about for tonight, and I'm joined with my buddy, Steve Homercles Bauer. Steve, how are you doing? Ready for the slate?
Not too bad. Yeah. Looking forward to it. We got a kind of quiet little bit of NHL here. Two more reasonable slates before it's All-Star break and like a long bye week kind of stretch.
Yeah.
So yeah, just try to get in as much action as possible. Pretty much it.
Yeah, for sure. This few days of layoff, it's going to be tough, just playing every single day. And now you're going to have to sit out a few days or take up PGA, which I'll probably be doing. So if you guys
Yeah.
want to do that, full sweat the weekend, watch our shows, our PGA shows. We had one just now actually at 2:30 Eastern with Ben Raz and Tim Frank, and then we have the normal Wednesday night show tomorrow night, which will get you set for the lock on Thursday morning. So that's what I'm going to be doing. What are you going to be doing with your All-Star break, Steve?
I think I'm going to go the golf route
Yeah.
over NBA. I mean, I don't know. I just never really play NBA, so that's probably a hard no for me.
I think the key is that there's definitely like the option to not play, but I don't think either of us are going to be exercising that option. I'll be playing something, but just something to pay attention to for the weekend. So that's why I think I'm going with golf, maybe some NBA here and there, but I don't really know anything about NBA, so it usually
Yeah,
just gets stomped.
I think so. That's just throwing money away for me. I think.
Self-exclusion, yeah, that's probably the smart route, Corsi, but
Get out of the house, I guess.
yeah, get out of the
Be the
house.
only other excuse.
Maybe spend time with the family or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got 5 games to talk about today. I think it's a pretty cool slate. I know we both like this size slate, like mid-range. So this is really the best slate we're probably going to have for the next week and a half or so. So that's pretty disappointing. The schedule next week, if any of you guys have seen, is bad. We were just talking about it before the show. A lot of 2 and 3 game slates. So you're not going to get a lot of hockey for the next little bit, but we're going to make this slate count. And we're going to go right into it here with the San Jose Sharks and the Washington Capitals. 3.1 implied total for the Sharks. 3.5 for the Capitals. Aaron Dell expected to go against Braden Holtby. I have FanDuel pricing up right now. I think we'll switch over to DraftKings.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. I caught that comment there.
Yeah. I didn't even see that. Can you put DK pricing? Yes, I can. All right, so what do you see in this game, Steve? High total, 2 teams that like to create chances.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a really good spot for fantasy points here tonight. The Caps are just playing horribly defensively. Doing not bad on offense there. They're generating a ton offensively, at least. And the Sharks without Erik Karlsson. And I don't think we're going to get Vlasic back tonight. So defensively, they're kind of hurting there. And so I think really both sides are very, very interesting tonight. I think the Caps will probably be more popular. And, if this was a healthy Erik Karlsson, I'd be all over the Sharks in this spot, regardless of the back-to-back. So, and in general, I like both sides here. It's kind of weird how, you still see those Sharks lines with Joe Thornton listed as the top line,
Yeah.
the way they do it on however the beat writers are listing them or however they're listing them on Daily Faceoff or whatever it is. So I kind of wonder, maybe that's why that hurdle line keeps going underowned here.
Yeah. No,
In general.
I honestly, that's like what I think it is. Like if they were listed right away as like San Jose 1 or San Jose 2, I think people would have been on them so much quicker. But like
Definitely.
for whatever reason, like maybe people just don't look at natural stat trick, they don't look at Corsica, like they don't look at line combo numbers, but like it's been one of the best lines in the NHL over the last couple weeks. And now they've got this, like they basically just took all the good players off Thornton's line, and they stacked up Hurdle and Couture's line. So it just makes 2 really good options for the Sharks. I'm all over them. The Couture line's my favorite, but I'm still gonna have a bunch of exposure in MME to the Hurdle Kane Donskoy line. You like the Hurdle line a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, it's a small sample size for the Couture, Pavelski, Meyer line. The Hurdle line just has really solid numbers overall, slightly like better than the other line, and they're lesser names. So I still think they go under owned. Well, I think they go lower owned than the Couture line. Just on paper, you see those names together, and looks like a fantastic line. So obviously, I am interested here, and it's the Caps they're going up against. So I really do like them. That line's just been really poor defensively, so I'd like to target them on the other side if possible.
Sure. Yeah. Do you know how line matching is gonna go? Do you have an inkling?
Not really, especially with the Caps switching their lines up there. But I think it's probably going to be the Backstrom Ovechkin line against them. It's just a bit of a hunch, though. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, that was my read as well. But I also think you can go to either of the top two Caps lines here. I kind of like the Kuznetsov line, and then everyone's going to know about Backstrom Ovechkin, Oshie, full power play correlation, and Sharks hurting on the defensive side. Just gave up 5 or 6 goals last night to Florida, back to back. People love playing the Caps, so I just think the second line maybe a little bit sneakier.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you're right there too.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. That second line's been really high event, generating a lot but giving up a ton as well.
Yeah.
So I mean that's really what you want for DFS. You don't really care if they give up goals or whatever. You just want them to have action, you know. So really do like that second line is kind of the lowest owned option in this game.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're on the same page here, it looks like. And then on the defensive side, Brent Burns, is he the top play of the night?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially with Carlson out, he's just getting so much. Well, his minutes that haven't changed too much, but he's just so much more the focal point of their offense. So
yeah,
they'll live and die by Burns as far as generating their offense.
Yep, a lot of shot attempts should be expected. Caps bad on the kill. They create a lot of penalties. That's Burns' forte, just firing shots from everywhere. So it looks like as a floor play, you can't really do much better than $6,500 Brent Burns in this matchup. Any of these other cheap Sharks guys, assuming Vlasic misses this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dylan and Braun are probably the two that my eyes go to right off the bat. I'd have to look into like the Ryan and Heat a little bit, maybe Simek. I don't really pay too close attention to those two guys, those three guys. But yeah, right off the top, I think Braun would see a lot of action tonight, and Dylan as well.
Yep, Braun, Dylan, the first two guys you mentioned, those are the guys that I have a little bit of exposure to outside of Burns.
Yeah.
On the San Jose side.
Yeah, of course he mentions LeBanc there. With Carlson out, he moves up to the top power play unit.
Oh yeah.
Which is a good spot. We just talked about, you just mentioned how the Caps penalty kill is pretty poor, and the Sharks power play has been really good too.
Yeah. I like it. And he is, what is he? Oh, 3,500. Couldn't find him on the screen. But yeah, if you are doing power play stacks, you need to save a couple $1,000s off one of these top Shark skaters. I think you could do worse than LeBanc. Anything else on the other side for defensemen for the Caps? And then goalies here, Dell, pretty cheap.
Well, Carlson's a good play as well. A very strong play up at the top. It's hard not to want to pay up the extra 300 for Burns if just have to pick one or the other. I'd lean Burns, of course. But if you look at the Sharks recently, they've been giving up a ton of high danger chances on the penalty kill. Over the last 10, their penalty kills had poor success as well. So overall, looks like a good spot for the Caps power play unit here. Yep,
Carlson going to be one of those guys that I do have in my non-Burns lineups or in my Washington lineups.
Yeah, and one other guy there, obviously Orlov there up on the top spot with Carlson. I notice when he's playing with Niskanen, he's completely useless, and I fade him fully on DFS. But when he's with Carlson, is just such a better offensive spot, and he actually comes through in those. So he's pretty underpriced at 3,400 when he's playing with Carlson.
Yeah, I think you were on that right away too. I remember it might have been a game I was at. When he moved with Carlson, it was a wild game, and Orlov scored 2 goals like the night you mentioned that. So maybe just plays more aggressive. I agree. So good catch there. What about Dell at 7,300 or Holtby at 8K?
I'd be more inclined to go with Holtby, just given shot attempts.
Okay.
Really?
Home favorite shot, like gonna see decent volume. You expect?
Yeah, and you're getting a team on a back-to-back too, without Carlson in the lineup. So
Maybe a lot
I
of
think
yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to lean Holtby in general. I just think his upside's much
Okay.
higher.
I lean Dell. I
Yeah,
just like Dell as a correlation play. If you're trying to jam in Burns, maybe he sneaks out a win here. I
yeah,
mean, it's not a downgrade from Martin Jones, so
no, no, not at
7,300 is
all.
fine.
No, I think that's a good point. Goalie is just a huge dumpster fire
Yeah,
tonight,
it's brutal.
right?
It's
So
brutal.
yeah, so normally like in a vacuum, I wouldn't love Dell at Washington, but given the rest of the goalies on the slate, I think that's perfectly fine.
All right, let's go to the Coyotes and the Senators. 3 implied total for Arizona, 3.2 for Ottawa. Darcy Kemper going up against Craig Anderson. Another one with a pretty big total and a lot of cheap skaters. Do you know which side is going to be more popular here, and then which side do you prefer?
Um, I I ownership, I think they should be pretty close.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I kind of like, it's funny, the Sens have been such huge underdogs in spots where they shouldn't really be that big of underdogs against like shitty teams, really.
Yeah. The
Um,
Kings.
yeah, and now they're a favorite in a spot they should probably be an underdog.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of lean like I kind of want to play the Coyotes a little bit more than the Sens here, but I do see I have similar interest in both though, to be honest.
So, are you going with the Keller line, Keller, Cousins, Fisher, or is that not really appealing to you, even with Keller up there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't love these line combos for full stacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. I want to like the Coyotes, but I just don't love those line combos. Like I like pieces there. I like Stepan and Ponick together, like two mans. Maybe Keller and Fisher. They don't have no power play correlation there. It's kind of shitty. Fisher as a one-off is pretty solid, I think.
Yeah, that's my issue too. Is like which Arizona line do you like? Like they should be able to generate a bunch of chances here against Ottawa.
Yeah.
Um, the
I have no
step-up
idea how
line,
they're going to match, right? Like I
right,
think ideally you'd like to be playing against the Duchesne the Zingle line.
right,
That's their worst one, and they usually play against third lines or so. And they've
yeah.
had the Pajot line doing shutdown with, I
Smith and
guess,
Payarvi.
yeah, with the Stone line taking kind of the in between the next
Yeah,
best lines. So I don't know how that's really going to play out.
yeah. Who
So it'll
knows?
just be a mix and match in this
Who
game.
knows what they consider which line, right? So,
Yeah,
like I like Garland and Galchenyuk, but their prices have just gone way up since I kind of first started being
yeah.
on them. I don't know that I love Wheel in between them. And then I guess my favorite here for Arizona is what you guys are seeing is the top line, Stepan Ponick and
Hmm.
Stroza, and just hope they see some time against, well, hopefully the Pajot line, but also the Duchesne line, because I really have no read on how the matching is going to go. I agree.
No, it's tough. But I think they have a better floor, that line, those players, especially at those prices. I like a lot more. Galchenyuk and Garland are definitely more GPP plays. They're not good, really floor point per dollar types.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be kind of GPP only there for me.
Yep. And then on the Ottawa side, you mentioned the Duchesne line is pretty poor defensively. You have any interest in them offensively for DFS tonight?
Sure, yeah, especially because they're going to get the depth. They're going to get whatever line is kind of favorable on the Coyotes. They'll probably go up against Galchenyuk would be my guess. Maybe not a hard match. They play second, third line kind of deal. But Duchesne's always seems to be coming through with goals. He plays well at home. I don't know. I want to have some exposure to him. It's not the best price, but
Yep.
yeah, I still want to get some exposure to him at home always.
Yeah, I like both of the top two lines for Ottawa
Yeah.
here, with a little bit of a lean towards the Tierney line. But
Yeah.
I'm actually getting to quite a bit of the Duchesne line. They're all on the top power play with Mark Stone, so you like that. Even though Arizona's kill is really good, doesn't hurt that these guys are fully correlated if they do get the opportunity. And Ottawa actually does have a pretty good power play for the season.
I really like the price on Stone, 5,800 there.
Oh yeah,
On
that's
DraftKings.
awesome.
Like he's underpriced there, so I like him a lot.
And then Kachuk's 4K on FanDuel. So they're pretty affordable on both sites as a stack. But yeah, definitely Stone on DK, and then I like Kachuk on FanDuel just as a one-off if you need
Sure.
some salary relief.
What I always end up doing with Ottawa, I know it's not a very good power play matchup against the Coyotes, but I often end up going Duchesne, Stone, and Kachuk with Shabbat in a stack.
Are they going 11-7 tonight? Because Wolanin is a defenseman.
Yeah, so they like his offensive game, so they want to keep him in the lineup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that they were actually playing him at. They're actually playing him at wing.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
They're not playing him at wing. He's the seventh defenseman. They go 11-7, yeah. But he gets the power play and offensive zone opportunities there.
Okay, so I mean that's probably an upgrade, a little bit of an upgrade for guys like Duchesne and Stone and Kachuk, who they could like double shift. So yeah, not bad that they're rolling 11-7 if you're looking for some Ottawa stacks here. All right, speaking of defensemen, you've got Shabbat as the most expensive guy, but kind of said that it's not a great power play spot against Arizona's kill. And then a handful of guys on Arizona, with Chychrun being my favorite, but also a game time decision. So you're not going to know right at lock, I don't think. Yeah, this game starts at 7:30 Eastern. So you're not going to know right at lock whether or not he's playing, probably. Do you have any favorites here on defense?
Ekman Larson, yeah, especially if Chychrun's out.
Yep.
Yeah, because he'll have that top power play spot. I think it's better for Arizona's power play, obviously, than Ottawa's power play here. So I do like Ekman Larson there. He's a bit expensive there, though, on DraftKings. I like him when he's a little below 5K. Yep. But, yeah, it's overall not a bad spot. There's a lot of good defenseman spots tonight. So it's going to be tough to kind of pick and choose.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm going with the unbalanced approach on D tonight. Just trying to jam in Burns, Carlson, and then just throwing in whoever fits basically after that. So probably not getting to a lot of these mid-tier guys. Even my boy Shabbat, I don't think I'm going to get to a lot of him tonight at 6,100.
Mm-hmm.
Goalies, Kemper, 7,600. Craig Anderson at almost 8K on DraftKings. Do you like either of these guys for tournaments?
Kind of, actually. I think this could be the best game for goalies somehow. If you look at the rest of the games, there's really nothing too crazy. I mean, the goalies that are coming up the most for me are Riddick in Calgary and Lehner, if he's starting against Chicago. But even then, that's kind of risky in Chicago. Beyond that, there's maybe Howard. I don't know what other good goalies are. There's really not a lot of good spots here for goalie.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then these are two kind of like middle priced goalies here. So I see myself having a decent amount of both.
Yeah, I'm going to try to correlate as much as possible tonight in my MME lineups, and then in like my main lineup for the higher stakes stuff, I'm correlating as well, or at least that's the plan right now. So
I think this is a very clear slate to correlate your goalie.
Yeah,
very clear.
No one sticks out. No home favorites for 7K type of thing. There's just no sort of certainty on an already very variant position.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of goals here overall tonight. So it's going to be tough to pick the goalie who doesn't let in all the goals. And the only downside to correlating your goalie is you don't get game stacks. So that could be viable tonight in game stacks. Pretty much every game you can make a case for. It's a tricky one, you know.
Yeah. So if you are on Fantasy Cruncher and you don't want all of the like if you want to leave the possibility open for some game stacks, just cut your crunch off however many lineups you want, and then like disregard the goalie rule if you have a goalie rule set in there, and just let it run for a few more lineups so you get some game stacks if you want that in your portfolio. All right, Islanders and the Blackhawks. We've got a 3.2 implied total for the Islanders, 2.8 for the Blackhawks. Robin Lehner expected to start going up against Cam Ward. And the Isles are priced up, rightfully so, going into Chicago. Yeah. We've got Kane with Taves and Kajula, which is going to open up some salary. You get to play Kane and Taves affordably. So what are you seeing in this one, Steve?
I really, really, really like the Islanders here, especially the top line there. The key is the Hawks' terrible penalty kill. Yeah. They're terrible at 5-on-5 as well, but I really like that the Islanders' top line's all together on the power play. And you're right, they have been priced up considerably on DraftKings, so they're not really showing up in projections as being good values here. So I think they probably go a little under-owned.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we mentioned that before the show. They might go a little under-owned. FanDuel, they're a little bit cheaper, so
Right.
I can see myself having a ton more there.
Right. It's so like if you're MMEing, you should have a lot more on FanDuel probably.
Yeah.
But their ownership's going to be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And which is fine. Like you can still play. It's not going to be difficult to get overweight on them on DK, which I think is a pretty smart thing to do tonight. As you mentioned, full power play correlation, Hawks worst kill in the NHL, under 74%. It's just really hard not to like the Islanders, but you're going to have to get a little bit creative, more than usual, if you want to play the Islanders, because DK rightfully priced them up, I think. Barzell also on the top power play. He's almost 7K. His line mates are also priced up. So I prefer the Nelson line, but on FanDuel especially, I'm going to get a bunch of Barzell as well.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's hard to recommend something like this, but this is kind of like the type of matchup where you can look to the shitty like Cizikas Clutterbuck kind of combos. It's just like 2 men sort of stuff. If you're playing, like I don't know how you can't really recommend it because you can't say like, oh yeah, fourth line players are great plays. But I can see this being a spot against a shitty team with shitty depth, as them coming through with a goal or two.
Right. Of course, he points out they play all their forwards like 13 to 18 minutes a night, so they're fairly even. So like shortish slate, if you wanted to roll something out like that, wouldn't be it like.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Right. Yeah, and it wouldn't be for like one lineup. So. Just to make that clear, if you're playing 150, okay. If you want to be like testosterone and have some fourth line exposure, this might be the team to actually do it with.
Yeah, Chicago. Well, you see Clutterbuck does get some power play 2 time, right? And so maybe you can play at one of those guys or like one-offs or something like that. I don't know. You just for cheap plays. I don't know if you just need a cheap filler here. I don't hate it.
Yeah. Sweet. So we've recommended Isles' fourth line. Now, what about the Blackhawks here? Do you like this Taves, Kane, Kajula trio?
Oh, it's funny. Taves had 5 points last game.
Yeah.
Kane had 4 or 5.
Split them up.
Do you know how many DraftKings points Kajula had? The best out of the whole game is he played on the line with guys with 5 and 4 points.
What do you have?
Scored 0 DraftKings points.
That's incredible.
It's incredible, yeah.
Is he that?
I assume he played the whole game with them. I could be wrong. Let me double check that first before I make that claim. But
he's not that big of a
he
plug,
played the whole game with them.
He's not that big of a plug, right?
No, he's not.
You know, he can. Yeah.
0 DraftKings points.
That's really bad.
Insane. He has a very, very low floor. Like I don't know, he's super cheap, but
right.
I don't even think you have to play him there.
Yeah. Man, I wish they would just go Taves, Kane, DeBrincat though. That'd be fun to see for a little bit of a stretch. But they probably still think they're in the playoff hunt here after this little hot streak the Blackhawks have had. So they're gonna, I'm sure, try to make a push with this new coach. So we probably won't see that. But yeah, Kajula just opens up a lot. He's going to project out well, especially if you up his minutes a little bit, and he's under 3K, and he gets you exposure to Taves and Kane. So,
I mean, it's hard to leave him off, really, but...
Right.
So I wouldn't put him... I'm not going to play him in cash as, like, a guy who's going to get you exposure to him for cheap. Like, I don't like those kind of plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're just full line stacking, you don't have to leave him off. But I'll certainly have some where it's just Kane, Taves, and Gustafsson or someone else that plays with them on the power play.
Anything else you want to mention on the Hawks here? The Strome line interests you at all, or these defensemen that they have?
I'm thinking about it. In general, I don't really want to play guys against the Islanders. They don't give up that many fantasy points in general. They're not giving up that many high danger chances. They don't give up that many shot attempts anymore. Their penalty kill is not bad. So I don't really see the upside here.
Yeah, I mean, they're priced okay, but just like real life, like you look at this matchup against the Islanders, like you said, they just don't give up that much. So that's where I'm at as well. I don't really think you need to go there.
Yeah, there's just so many juicy spots here that in the slate. I don't think you have to.
$4,900 Nick Leddy for the Isles power play 1 exposure. That's a lock, right?
I hate that price, but this is the kind of matchup I might actually endorse him. once again prefer on FanDuel. He's 4,500 there. Slight with the extra salary cap. That's actually a considerable discount compared to DraftKings. Just the correlation play purely.
Letty, 5 shots on goal last game. Minutes
and it's his former team too, so it's like
maybe
some kind of revenge.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, just do it on FanDuel if you're playing on both sites. But also, Pollock is 3,900 on FanDuel. So as a one-off, I think he's your play. If you're correlating with the top line, hard to avoid Letty, I think, on FanDuel. So
that's a very good way to put it. I would only include Letty in power play stacks, in correlated stacks.
Perfect.
Pollock is a much, much better one-off.
Yep. Just way more upside by himself. He can kind of create more offense. Big shot, shoots it more. So probably have lower ownership too because of the power play 2 tag.
It's a bit steep on DraftKings at 5,500 though, considering what else we have on the slate.
Yeah, I don't think I got to him at all in my 20 on DraftKings. So that's fine with me. I'm not gonna lose sleep about it. Yep. Robin Leonard, 8,300. You mentioned you like him a little bit. What about Ward for 7K? He's having one of the worst goalie seasons. I think he's the worst goalie in the NHL this year. I saw some graph this morning.
Like I said before, goalie correlation type of play, maybe. 7K. There's really not a lot to like at goalie tonight. Yeah. Normally, I would say hell no. Maybe just as a correlation play. But yeah, he's been brutal.
Yeah.
It's hard to like him.
Right. No, I'm probably not going to either goalie here. On DK, where I have limited lineups, I just rather not or only go for them in correlation spots. So don't be fooled by the 7K price tag by Cam Ward. I don't think it's a great play regardless. All right, let's go to Carolina and Calgary. We've got a 2.9 implied total for the Hurricanes, 3.6 for the Flames. Peter Mrazek going up against David Rittich. And we've got a super expensive Calgary 1 here. Is that going to lower their ownership, do you think? Are you getting into a lot of
them? Let's see. Do I have much of them? Yeah, they're coming in. Edmonton's my highest owned right now. Just on the initial crunch there, what the projections spit out. But Calgary's second after that. So, really? Yeah, they are coming up here.
Yeah. They weren't coming up that much for me. On DK, you mean?
Yeah, on DraftKings. Yeah,
okay.
They are pretty expensive though.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is, like, I hate leaving off Giordano, and that's really, really spendy when you try to stack those 4 together. I mean, there are some okay third lines that you can play, and some pretty cheap second lines as well. So it's not like you can't do it, but I just didn't get to a lot of them really on either site.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. It's really hard to fit all 4, right? Unless you're stacking them with Islanders 4, of course, right?
Yeah, you got to get Cizikas and Clutterbuck, and then you're golden.
Yeah.
How do you think the line matching is going to go here? It's got to be Backlund against Aho, right?
Well, so that's one thing I've noticed lately is that they're not really hard matching anymore. They're giving the Gaudreau line equal time against top lines and second lines. So
okay.
They will. That's why they're still in play for me here, because they will get that Aho Williams Niederreiter line, which is probably their weakest defensive line. I noticed it's a very, very small sample, but like obviously it's super small. But they're giving up a decent amount defensively in their 1 game together. So I think it's reasonable to take that they get through there.
Yeah. So that's a little bit worrisome, I think, for these Hurricanes lines. You don't really know who's going to see who for the majority of time. Like I think the Walmart line interests me somewhat with Ferland and Teravainen as his wings, but they're actually priced up a little bit. Martinuk, Svechnikov, and McGinn, I don't really know what to do with that line. 3 wingers on DK anyways.
That's going to be a pass for me.
Yeah, and then like Aho's just priced up so much. Maybe people will be on Niederreiter because he had 2 goals in the first period of his first game with the new team. But I don't know. There's not really all that much to like, I don't think, on the Carolina side. And like raw points wise, I love Calgary 1, but value wise, I really like the mid tier tonight and the top defenseman. So it's tough for me to get there.
Yeah. I'll mix and match. I think both of the top 2 lines are reasonable for Carolina.
Okay.
I'm more on the Calgary side, obviously. I really like that third line there, the Kachuk,
Yes,
Jankowski, and Bennett line.
I like it.
Yeah, that's kind of their depth lines. Those are the three players who've been playing the best, and they jammed them all together.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's really appealing to me. I think that's kind of the sneaky spot up there. I want to have the most exposure to that line in this game.
The most overall.
No, in this game, this is the line. I probably just on a point per dollar.
Yeah.
I think I probably have the most of them just because they fit with just about everything.
Okay. Yeah, they were popping for me quite a bit, so I was going to ask you
Yeah.
about them.
Yep.
But yeah,
No, they've been great.
I mean, Kachuk,
All
top
three
power
players.
play too. You can fit Giordano with them really easily for the Giordano
Yeah.
Kachuk hook up on the power play.
Yeah.
Jankowski Bennett, super cheap. So yeah, that's the line I like.
If you want to talk power plays here, this is the best for both teams, the power play. These two teams are the most shorthanded over the last 10 games for the whole month of this slate. So we could see quite a few power play opportunities here.
Yeah.
And just looking at it, the Flames power play has been obviously generating a ton of unblocked shot attempts, and the most high danger chances for in that time span.
Okay.
So their power play is going really well. Carolina's penalty kill has been really poor at 72% over the last little bit. And Carolina's power play has actually heated up a little bit lately too, despite the underlying numbers not being particularly great. But
Yeah.
I think given the opportunities, it would be worth targeting some spots there.
Yeah. On the other side for defenseman, well, first of all, do you like anyone outside of Giordano on the Flames?
Hannafin is pretty cheap there, 3,700.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A value
that's-
grade for Osmos.
Yeah. And I would consider, I probably prefer Hamonic over Brody, I think.
I think I would as
Yeah.
well. All right, on the other side, Dougie Hamilton listed with Slavin. Both guys on the second power play. Hamilton at 5K. Is this the matchup we finally roll him out in?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I do, in a straight point per dollar, well, not even point per dollar, but just upside for that price. I'm liking Ekman Larson at that price tag a little bit more than Dougie, just for offensive potential. But I still think we can go to Dougie here.
Okay.
Tonight.
Cool.
Yeah. And then some kind of mix of Falk or DeHaan seem. Well, Falk's pretty expensive. I think I'd rather have Hamilton than Falk at around those price tags.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, especially as a one-off.
Yeah.
Rittich, 8,200. Would this be your cash goalie if you had to choose one tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. It's no one's safe tonight, but yeah, he seems like the best spot.
Yeah. It seems like Calgary should win this game.
Yeah.
But who knows? They're a pretty decent home favorite.
Yeah, it's hard to trust. I don't know. I think he's hard to trust in the spot, but I think it's the best spot on paper.
Yeah, and Carolina they do have the 35 shot, 1 goal performance still in them. So
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of upside even for that price. All right, let's go to the last game of the night. We've got the Detroit Red Wings going up against the Edmonton Oilers. 2.8 implied total for the Red Wings, 3.2 for the Oilers. Jimmy Howard in net against newly signed Mikko Koskinen. Big contract given to him by the Oilers for whatever reason. This is my favorite game on the night. What about you?
Detroit is my favorite. McDavid line's coming up a lot in projections and stuff like that, but I really, really like Detroit. Specifically Larkin.
Yep.
He's been amazing lately. He's been generating tons and tons of shots. So I think tons of upside here for him individually. His price tag's gone way up, which is kind of tough. He's up there. He's one of the top price centermen on the slate. He's further down the list on FanDuel, so I can see myself ending up with more there. He's down towards like seventh priced center, highest priced center on there, and I think he's third on DraftKings. Yeah,
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in general, I really like Larkin. I can see myself having a decent amount of that second line as well. They're very cheap. But overall, yeah, I really like Detroit here. The shot attempts at 5-on-5 are definitely in their favor. One thing I noticed though is the high danger chance matchup isn't particularly strong, but just look at what Edmonton's been giving up lately and how leaky that McDavid line's been. So definitely shows up in their favor.
Yeah. So Detroit 1 is my favorite stack of the night. I think Larkin is probably my favorite play on the night. 7,100, but not really worried about the price. Cheap enough line mates to make it work. I think they're going to get probably hard matched against McDavid. Both those lines going to see a bunch of time. And I think the McDavid line is going to be chalk. So not that you can't play the McDavid line. I love the McDavid line, especially where Puljujarvi is super cheap at 2,800. But yeah, Detroit 1, it's going to be tough to limit them at all because they're my favorite spot on the night. And then, yeah, I agree about Detroit 2. Nielsen, Vanek, and Mantha all on the top power play. It's a pretty good PK to target the Oilers. They've just been terrible in all facets of the game as of late. And you've got some cheap defensemen that get power play exposure on the Red Wings as well. So favorite team on the night, Detroit 1, favorite stack on the night again. And then it's the McDavid line. How owned do you think they're going to be?
I don't know. It's kind of tricky. Like, it depends what class of player you're talking about here. Is what stakes, higher stakes, lower stakes, something like that. I don't I don't know why Detroit is an underdog here, to be honest. Oilers suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much more to say. Like, just all the stats point towards Detroit here.
Yep.
It's a good spot for the Oilers power play is in a really good spot here. That's probably the weakest link on Detroit defensively is probably their penalty kill.
Yep, and they commit a bunch of penalties as well. So I'll look to see where they're at. They're tied for 6th most time shorthanded in the NHL. Just all season they've been inside the top 10, 77.2% kill for the season. I'm sure they're not blocking a lot of shot attempts either. And then you get exposure to the best players, really the only players you want on the Oilers with the McDavid line. McDavid, Nugent Hopkins. You can mix in Draisaitl if you want, but he's up to 7,200. You could go like McDavid with Draisaitl and Chason if you wanted to do that. Yeah, it just seems like a really good game on both sides. So I don't know. It's I don't know how you really avoid this game, especially if you're MMEing. But yeah, anything else you got on this game? Defenseman you want to talk about? Nurse, I think, is one of the best plays of the night.
Yeah, big on Nurse here. Detroit side, I guess Mike Green, but he's not. Is he not top power play, right? What does he got?
He's second power play.
Yeah, how did they do that? Like, how do you not have Green over Cronwall on that top power play unit? It's so simple. Just make one tiny change. You don't need a second power play unit when you have that. That's a good power play unit if you have Green there quarterbacking.
Right.
I don't really get it. I guess like Larkin kind of quarterbacks it, but
yeah. I don't get Cronwall, but like I actually am considering playing some Cronwall tonight at 3K if he's gonna be on the power play. It's just like 3K guy on the top power play when I already like Larkin. Tough for me to not have at least a little bit of him when I'm MMEing, especially on FanDuel. And Nurse is the other guy, like just very clear option for Edmonton. Power play 1, going to play a ton of minutes. Correlates to McDavid, correlates to the Draisaitl line too if you want to go there. Yeah, this one seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, certainly.
What about goalies with all that being said? Howard at 7,400 and Koskinen at 79.
Like I like the price on Howard, and theoretically I like them to win. So 7,400 is pretty good price for that. But if you just look at shot attempts for and against on each side, he doesn't have a ton of upside here. The Oilers are not generating a ton of volume. Detroit's not giving up a ton of volume at 5-on-5. So it's I don't know. Yeah, you're balancing his percentage chance of getting a win, which I think is strong, versus the upside, like the amount of shots he's facing. So for 7,400, I think it's a fine play, but kind of tricky there. Koskinen maybe has a bit more upside. given that the Wings are generating a ton of shot attempts. The Oilers are giving up ton of shot attempts. The Wings really aren't generating that many high danger chances.
Right. Yeah.
So, Koskinen's kind of interesting here for GPP upside.
Yeah, both goalies I think okay for their prices. There's just not a lot of certainty at all for goalies tonight. So
it
correlate
makes it tough,
where you
right?
can if you want to go that route. But yeah, this should be a pretty good slate. You want to just kind of sum it up, like just go through each of the games a little bit and say who you like, or maybe say a couple of your top plays here.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Right from the top, like just in a vacuum, I really like that Islanders top line there. They are tricky. They're tricky to fit in on DraftKings because their prices went up.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think that's probably my favorite individual line tonight, price notwithstanding.
Mm-hmm.
But so I like them. I really like the Larkin line. The game in general, I really like the Sharks and Caps game in general. I'm kind of leaning towards the Hurdle line, and I think both Caps lines are reasonable, but I think the second line's kind of sneaky for the Caps.
Yep.
And then I think the Carolina Calgary game, I really like Calgary 3 as a sneaky cheaper line.
Yeah.
Obviously the top line's in play, but
right. Yeah, that's gonna be the
that's not it's not like earth shattering to say that, earth shattering news there, but I think they're a line I would like to get exposure to tonight.
Sure. Yeah, for me it's gonna be probably the Couture line for the Sharks. I like both of their two best lines. Going over to the Arizona. Burns, I think, should be your highest exposed player tonight. He's going to be mine on both sites. And then I like the Tierney, Kachuk, Stone line on both sites. Islanders, like you mentioned, a little bit expensive on DK, but I'm going to try to force some in where I can because I think that's going to make them be under-owned, especially for guys that are using optimizers and 150ing. And then Detroit won. My favorite on the night. So wrote him up earlier today. It's not going to be a surprise to anyone. Nothing's changed since then. In fact, I think I actually prefer McDavid and Draisaitl not being together and them hard matching with Puljujarvi and Nugent Hopkins on that line. So should be a good one. Anything else you want to mention before we head out of here, Steve?
Just kind of big news. Well, big news for the show, at least anyway. I tweeted it out before the show, but this is going to be my last show. I've decided to step down from doing the whole tout life thing and just going to really be focusing on playing for the rest of the season, or at least for the foreseeable future. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and for all the support and everything like that. And it's been a pleasure doing the shows with you.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome doing the shows with you. Hopefully we can work something out in the future. If you decide to come back ever, the show would love to have you. So thanks for your time, man. It was quite a bit of fun, and I know the audience loves you. So be sure to drop by and chat for the show from time to time. And
I'll do that for sure. And I'll be kicking around in the Slack channel for subscribers, as long as the guys will have me. So
I think we can make that happen. And in fact, I know we can make that happen. So. Yeah, dude.
I'll be around. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to be doing the shows anymore or anything like that. So
no, you'll just be just a little extra hour for you to end up crushing the leaderboards, right?
Yeah, I really just wanted to focus a little bit more on playing. I think that's kind of gone down the drain a little bit. I've been focusing more on just doing content and stuff like that over the last couple of years. So I just want to play a little bit more, really.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone in chat looks like they're rooting for you, so good luck, and big GPP wins in the future for you, Steve. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you. I think we have a show tomorrow. Yeah, looks like we'll have a show tomorrow. 6-game slate. Good luck tonight, guys.
Cheers, guys.